welcome to One More with Danny Coleman. I am Danny Coleman, and I'm coming to you live from Monmouth Music here in Red Bank, New Jersey. Again, I want to extend my many thanks to Mario Di Bartolo for allowing us to camp out here every Monday night from 8 to 9:15 p.m. on the One More with Danny Coleman show. If you're expecting to see the movie cast and crew and producers that we had scheduled, originally there was a conflict, and fortunately enough for us, this fine gentleman, Mr. Dave Vargo, was able to step in and fill in that role tonight. Thank you very much, Dave. That's greatly appreciated. One More with Danny Coleman is sponsored by Monmouth Music, 30 Monmouth Street, Red Bank, New Jersey, as well as Antoinette Boulangerie, 32 Monmouth Street, also of Red Bank, and the Downtown All-Stars of Red Bank. If you're interested in sponsoring this program, please hit me up on email, dcoleman.drice, D-R-I-C-E, dcoleman.drice@gmail.com, and we will gladly satisfy your sponsorship needs. Or if you have an idea or suggestion that something you would like to see on this program, please hit me up, Danny Coleman, right here. Send your money to me, Nash. Al Franken. That's right. Send it to me. We have Nash. Nash is not only is he my man over there, right? But he is also the self-professed god of flannel, and he fails not to tell anybody. That's right. He is the man. So, and again, my guest is Dave Vargo, and I'm just going to be upfront and honest about this because he was a replacement guest. Not that I really do much research anyway, but I know nothing about this man. So we are going to find out together, we are going to learn about Dave Vargo. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. No, thank you for helping us. Where are you from?
Originally from East Brunswick. I live in Farmingdale now over by Colts Neck.
Oh, okay. From East Brunswick, huh?
Yeah, born and raised.
I used to work up that way when I was a kid. I used to work at Dow Jones in South Brunswick.
Oh, okay.
So, somewhat familiar with the area. Our travels took us many places back then.
I bet.
So, instrument. Is guitar your only instrument?
That's my, yeah.
And you have...
To the Ed Sullivan Show. So, got music, check out the guitar. It just kind of happened. That until... you're kind of interested in the
struggle.
Person, Phoebe Snow, on and off, Donna Shepherd, Rupert Holmes.
Oh God, Rupert Holmes. Hey, if you like Pina Colada,
but one of the best slide guitar parts ever.
Yeah, right. That's wow. How about that? I didn't know. I didn't realize that.
And then I got tired of being on the road. I was on the road 320 days a year.
Almost,
and it just burned me out.
Lived out of a suitcase that much?
Yeah, I was homeless in California. Didn't have a car. I was never at a place long enough to need anything. And it got to be kind of old after a while.
Really?
And I have friends that still do it and they love it, but that wasn't
for you.
Wasn't for me.
So how did you get? How does one get a gig like that?
I don't know. People ask me that now, and I think back, it's hard to remember. But I got out of college, and being a New Jersey guy, I came back to New Jersey, and I think Whitney was hiring primarily Jersey people for her band. And I had done a gig with Phoebe Snow, and somebody saw me there, and they liked me. They had me come in and did an audition, and I got the gig. And literally 3 months later, we were on tour. And
wow.
We did 3 months of rehearsals, never saw Whitney once. First time I saw her was on stage in Madison Square Garden. And very much the star,
Yeah. Wow.
Didn't talk to her unless she spoke to you, kind of thing. But
really,
it was a good experience. It was, being young and that being, my first real professional work, I guess, being on stage in 20,000, 30,000 people a night with professional sound, professional lights, was pretty amazing for the first couple of weeks, and then it kind of waned after that. Cause then, as a musician in bands like that, you play the same songs every night. You play in the same way every night. There's no, you don't get to put your influence on the music at all.
Right.
So it becomes like a job that you're just in a different place every other night.
I said that to, it's kind of funny. One of the things that I do besides this program and my radio program is I'm a writer, and I interview many different various. I've interviewed everybody from the local band on the corner to Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, and they all say the same thing, that doing the songs over and over and over again, it's kind of becomes boring to them. But there are others who say, that's what got us there, and people are expecting to hear it, so you've got to suck it up and do it.
I think it's different if they're your songs and you're playing them every night. If you're playing somebody else's songs, like when I worked with Phoebe Snow, she was the total opposite of Whitney. Whitney, if you changed your solo, you'd get notes the next day saying, "Why did you do that? Don't do that." My first show with Phoebe after that experience was that I showed up saying, "What do you want me to do?" And she said, "You're the guitar player, figure it out." And just make it your own. So it's a total opposite experience. Right. The downside is Phoebe couldn't pay like Whitney could pay. So you got your artistic creativity, but you didn't make a whole lot of money.
Yeah, but the cash, yeah, right? So, wow, that's because for me, see, I've never had that. That's actually one of what's the buzzword today, Nash? Bucket list? Is that what they call it? Yeah. Bucket list. That's one of my bucket list items, is to know what it feels like to play in front of that many people. I've never had that experience.
It's
do you remember? I mean, you got to remember. What were you feeling at first?
I mean, it was scary. I mean, you shake, and you go up stage. It's dark, and no matter how much you rehearse, I mean, you have your spots marked, and you know where you're supposed to move, how far you can move. It's kind of all set up that way. And but when you actually hit those lights the first time, and that roar of the crowd comes up, I mean, your knees just kind of buckle a little bit, and everything you learn musically you forget. And you hope it comes back in time, and it does. Right. But there's that kind of momentary lapse of being sucked into that energy. That's, that part you miss. But once again, that wasn't enough to get through all the downsides to playing the same song every night. Every night,
right?
Yeah.
I remember, probably about 10 years ago now, I did a gig at the Saint. Cook Smith had thrown a whole bunch of us together to be an opening act for Walter Egan. And, Magnet and Steel,
right?
Walter Egan, sure. Right? And his drummer, we shared my drum kit. And his drummer's claim to fame was he had spent the last 10 or 15 years playing behind, oh God, it escapes me, the pop star from the 80s.
There's a lot of those.
No. She was a really cute girl. Oh God, I keep Sheila E., but it wasn't Sheila E. Sheena Easton.
Oh, okay.
Sheena Easton. He's like, I got to stand behind Sheena Easton all night, and he's like, I don't care what they were paying me. He was happier than it could be to do that gig,
Right.
But I guess it's just like anything else, it becomes a job after a while.
Yeah, and you don't realize that you practice and you wish and you want and you finally get there. And I think once again, if there was something music that you would have written or participated in, it'd be a different feeling and a different story.
Well, how about a guy like Rupert Holmes? I mean, other than a Pina Colada song,
there wasn't a lot going on there.
I'm thinking, he never really had a number one hit. Was that? I think that did hit number one for him, right?
Probably close,
or close to it, 2 or 3. You know the tune I'm talking about, Nash, the Pina Colada song. If you love pina coladas, getting drunk in the rain or caught in the rain or whatever it is. Yes, that's the one. Rupert Holmes. Escape, it's called, the Pina Colada song.
There were interesting shows. First of all, they were very small rooms as he wasn't a big draw. But that was the song. And once he did it, it was like, where do you go from here? So we had to place it strategically in the set.
Gotcha.
So,
I see. All right, well, and now we move on to your music.
Yes.
Now was there any downtime in between coming off tour and before you decided to start doing your own stuff? Or?
A lot, yeah. I mean, I didn't touch a guitar for 7 years or so. Wow. Literally put it down, walked away from it, and was
that because you had enough, or life just got in the way when you?
A little both, I was living in Howell at the time, and I had everything set up, and then our water heater exploded, and we didn't lose any instruments, but made me put everything away. And once they got put away, they never got brought out again.
Really?
I wasn't doing shows. I wasn't doing anything else, so there wasn't any need. And it just got kind of, life got in the way, and then never went back to it. And about 3 years ago, for some reason, the bug just came back out of nowhere. And after 7 years, you have to kind of reteach yourself how to play a little bit.
Right.
It's amazing how quick the calluses come back, though.
Right.
And then doing a lot of open mics and backing other people and doing mostly cover stuff, reimagined covers, as I call them. And my wife started to prod me about 2 years ago, saying you should really start writing your own songs, which reluctantly I did. Okay. And 2 years later, I have a CD out.
Is this your first?
My first.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a party soon, right? Is it out officially yet?
It's out. It's on all the usual places, iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, Spotify.
Do you have a website or?
DaveVargoMusic.com.
Okay.
But the actual release is going to be at the Saint on December 30th.
Oh, the Saint coming up the end of the month, December 30th. See, it's funny being a musician. I put my stuff down. I stopped playing out for about 10 years when my wife and my ex-wife and I had my son.
Right.
And I stopped playing. And I actually picked it up again. Actually, no, about 8 years it was, because I picked it up again in 2000 for the purpose of buying that same ex-wife a car for her 40th birthday, and I thought I need some extra cash, and I started playing again.
Okay.
But it's like a bug. It's like one of these illnesses that lies dormant in your system, and then all of a sudden it flares up, and it's like, I got to keep doing this, and it won't leave you alone. It keeps gnawing at you.
It does.
Until you scratch that itch, so to speak. And well, that's good that you took it up again. So again, I know I'm really not that familiar with you. I mean, I know that you've got, thanks to Mario, that you've got 11,000 likes or followers on social media, and you have a Twitter account too?
I just started Twitter a week ago, so.
Well, what is it? Tell everybody. They'll follow you.
I don't even know.
Follow I don't know on Twitter.
And truthfully, I'm social media. It's not my thing. I do Facebook because you have to, and I'm doing
That's how I feel about
big radio push now. And they said you got to get a Twitter account so when they play your stuff. So I literally just started it, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. I don't even know what it is.
You don't even know what it is.
But
what should we call them? What do you think, Nash?
Something Dave Vargo Music, I'm sure.
Something.
But I don't.
Now, did you revisit the business end of this for this disc? Do you have PR people? Do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of the stuff myself, but yeah, I mean, I have people doing some radio work for me, and I got a press person who's working on we've gotten 3 or 4 really good reviews so far. So somebody out there is now seeking out some more reviews to kind of keep that going leading up to the Saints show. Okay. And you get the first couple, you're always leery about what they're going to be. And once they were good, you say, oh, maybe I'll get a few more.
Where can these reviews be found?
My website, we have them all posted. It's at DaveVargoMusic.com. So in the notes section, we have, I think all 3 or 4 of them are posted there.
What publications did them?
Aquarian was the first one.
Oh, the Aquarian. Who did it? Do you remember?
Of course, I'm going to draw a blank now. I don't.
Wasn't John, was it? Was it John Pfeiffer?
It was John Pfeiffer.
There you go. See? John's a good guy. You're lucky.
He was very, very nice, too. Nicer than I thought he would be. We just got one yesterday from Music Morsels, which is like an online blog kind of thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to draw blanks on the other ones now, too. But
did you bring any discs with you?
I do have some in my bag, yep.
Okay. When you do that, actually, if you're kind enough to this guy to give him one, I will gladly review it for you as well.
Oh, sure.
See, I write for New Jersey Stage and Concert Blogger and the Rock Rag. We'll get you out there, man. That's what we do here. We get you out there.
That's what I want to hear.
Okay, so you put out this disc. You write, is it full length? Is it, how many songs?
Yep, 11 songs.
Okay, so it's full length EP. Full length LP or
whatever
CD
we call them now.
Yeah, right. It's not
I still call it an album. I can't get around.
Well, technically it still is because it's a collection of material.
Right. True.
It's just not in a. It's funny. I have at home. I have a 1910 Victrola.
Wow.
Okay, and my son, who's 24, comes over to the house last week, and he's, oh, Dad, I forgot about this thing. So he cranks it. I only use it like this time of year because I happen to have on 78 Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Oh wow.
And he comes over and he cranks it up. He's like, oh, my God, this thing still works. I mean, to control the volume, you have to open and shut the front doors on this thing. and and with it, I have all of the albums that come, because it looks like an old school photo album. Right. And when you open up the pages, there's 78 records stuck in every one. Wow. So, and it says album collection. I have several of them. It says album collection on the front.
Oh, that's cool.
So technically, yeah, it's still an album because it's a collection of songs. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you went full length, because I think too many younger bands today go with these 3 and 4 song EPs and claiming because people's attention spans are just too short.
Right.
I'm kind of in with Martha Davis of the Motels, who said to me one time, Danny, if I'm only getting 2 or 3 hits on 1 or 2 songs, I need to make a better album.
Right.
So I like seeing that. I know a lot of younger groups have trouble with the cash aspect, but where'd you do yours?
Actually, Tim Pinello, who is one of the engineers at Lake House, has a studio in his basement, and we used his expertise and his equipment in his basement. It came out great.
Fantastic.
And he gave us, it was cheaper time, let us take our time doing it, and I looked at that whole EP to LP kind of thing too, and I said, what would I want to buy? And I said, I never buy EPs. Right. I want to hear more than that, so that's the reason we went full, and it didn't cost a whole lot more to go from 5 songs to 11 songs, so, especially when you play most of the instruments.
Especially if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk in a second. I have to talk about the Downtown All Stars of Red Bank real quick, but I want to talk about the All Stars that are on your disc when we return. Keep your eyes open for the next charity compilation CD produced by the Downtown All Stars of Red Bank. Magic by artists such as DJ Pinelli, Colossal Street Jam, Dawn Hopkins, and John Hathaway. Magic on a Navasink is produced to benefit the Red Bank Elks Lodge number 233's Veterans Support Programs. The Downtown All-Stars first compilation CD, Bright Lights on Broad Street, was in support of the Little Kids Rock programs across the U.S., which provide free music instruction and instruments to the underserved public school districts all across the United States. That's also available on the Downtown All-Stars website and from select retailers. The Downtown All-Stars of Red Bank, LLC, is a collective of local musicians and performing artists bound together to raise both funds and awareness for charity and worthy causes through the immeasurable power of music. Go to redbankallstars.com and follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/redbankallstars for more information. So who was on your disc?
Well, I played all the guitars and sang. That should be appropriate, I guess. Tim, who engineered and mastered and mixed, also played drums and the percussion.
Okay.
Eric Romero played a little bit of keyboards and all the bass parts. And my duo partner, Kim Boyko, did the background vocals.
I actually had, on my radio program last evening, I had Sam Sims.
Oh.
Who's been on my show several times, and his CD Moments I happen to have in front of me. I flipped over, which was from 2011. Eric Romero is on that one as well.
He's another Lake House guy, so he gets around a lot.
Yeah, actually, that's where he recorded it. Eric Romero, Rod LeBrett, Matt Wade, and John Liedersdorf were on that disc. So, they got themselves a nice little niche there on Lake Avenue in Asbury Park.
They do. It's a building empire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with Russo's music there, too.
Russo's is there. And
that's for you, Mario. Yeah, we are coming to you live from Monmouth Music. This is One More with Danny Coleman. I'm Danny Coleman. That's Dave Vargo. And we're here discussing his fascinating career that I knew really next to nothing about. So I'm learning right along with you at home watching this. How long did it take you to do the disc?
It's funny. We would sneak in times. It wasn't like we didn't take a week off and like go in hot. We're doing Wednesday nights weekly or every other week for probably about 7 months or so before we got everything done.
Okay.
So it was a longer process, but it was good. We didn't rush through anything. We got to think about things. The songs I went in, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but I had no plans. I've been playing the songs just acoustic and vocals for as long as I've written them. So to go in and then go into a full production CD, we were just kind of making up stuff as we went. I didn't want to go in with I want this kind of guitar solo, or I want this kind of guitar part, and we just kind of let the magic happen as it happened. And I've been doing charts now because now I'm going to have a band for the CD release. I'm going to have another guitar player play with me, and I'm listening back to the parts. I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty happy with what I did, which normally, but at this point, I'm starting to get sick of already.
Well, how important to you as an artist is it that the musicians you use have that freedom? Now, I know you just said, like, with Whitney Houston, you get a note the next day that you didn't play it the way it was supposed to be.
Right.
And then with Phoebe Snow, it was, I almost said Phoebe Cates. I was like, Phoebe Snow, it was, you're the guitar player, do it, dude. You know? So how important is that to you as the man whose name is on the disc to let your musicians have artistic freedom?
Yeah, and I think, for the charts, and this is a conversation I had with the guitar players, that, there's certain motifs that you want there, that we spend a lot of time, that I think that, some of the parts they're part of the song at this point. But solos, there's going to be some free reign. There's going to be some, a little bit of the ability for them to put their personalities into what we're doing. That being said, I'm playing most of the hard stuff. So, because I can't, it's my record, I got to do it. Right?
Do you handle most of the leads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the record, obviously, all of them, and live, I'll do as many of them as I can, but it's hard to do all the parts and sing at the same time in front of bands. So.
True. Very true. So when you go out on the road with a band, who's going to be in your band at the Saint on the 30th?
Well, Kim Boyko, who's on the record, is going to sing background. Tim Pinnell is also going to play drums again, luckily. Mark Tappan's going to play the second guitar parts.
Okay.
And Jeff Thompson's going to play bass. Jeff is up from the Colonia area. He plays around a lot with Soul Cat and some of the guys you see around.
Oh, yeah, he plays... is that the band name, Soul Cat, or are you talking about Pat?
Pat Toner and the Soul Cat.
Pat,
yeah,
okay.
He plays his
Pat the Soul Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I haven't seen... Pat's been on this program. I haven't seen him in a while, though. If he shows up at that, make sure you tell him I said hello.
I will do that.
On the 30th.
Well, you're going to show up at that, too, I hope.
I hope so. That's a Friday night.
Are we getting this on tape? We can bring this back later.
Use it against me? See? Nash has my back, see? He knows nothing. Matter of fact, what was that thing they did in Men in Black with the... erased all memory of this?
Great.
So how about that? Pat the Soul Cat.
Yeah, Pat and I go way back. It's funny. We reconnected. I was doing a songwriter show with him, and there's a bunch of people, and he was on after me, and he was playing one of the songs. And I said, I know this song. I played on this song. I approached Pat afterwards, and years ago I played on the demo for it, and we reconnected after that. And I see Pat pretty frequently now.
How about that?
Moving in similar circles.
Pat's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. I first encountered him. He was going to come on my radio show. And then somebody that he and I have both worked with in the past, a woman named Laura Chrissy. Laura had her CD release from McClune Supper Club.
Okay.
And she had this like all-star band behind her, And I think Vinny Lopez played drums for her that night. And she said, rather than having an opening act, I would love for you to do your radio show, since it's on a Sunday night, from the Supper Club as the opening act. I had already had Pat scheduled. So I reached out to him. I said, look, here's the opportunity I have. And he said, well, I'm going to be there anyway because I'm on the record. Oh. And I said, oh, well, there you go. So,
perfect.
And he actually wanted to back out on me. I said, come on, Pat. No, just so at this point I had throughout that hour plus that I sat there as the pre-show for Laura's CD release party, I had Vinny Lopez, I had Pat the Soul Cat, and I had Lou, the percussion guy. Lou, I haven't seen him since. So I had the three guests, and I wound up working out. And then I wound up another gig at the Wonder Bar late at day, being in a choir that Laura had assembled for her show Lean On Me, for her tune she did Lean On Me. And Pat was in that too. So, yeah, it was nice. I haven't seen him in a while. Make sure you tell him I said hello.
I will do that.
Unless I go there on the 30th.
Not unless when you go there on the 30th.
When I go there on the 30th, that's right. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is One More with Danny Coleman. My guest tonight is Dave Vargo. when your wife urged you to write your own material, I mean, I'm sure you had given it thought over the years, and I'm sure you had some stuff. What clicked to say, you know what, I really have to do this?
Yeah, I fought it for a long time. I never did write a lot of stuff. When I was in school in music, so you had to write some things. So I wrote a couple of radio jingles and some instrumental, like jazz kind of stuff, but I never wrote lyrics before, which is always my stumbling block. Is like, if I do that, how am I going to come up with words? And she put the bug in my ear, and a lot of guys around me were writing songs, and so it kind of inspired me. So I started keeping a journal, just get little things, and you write them down, a couple words, a phrase, a song title, something like that. And so kicking and screaming, I said, you know what, I'm just going to force myself to finish one. It might be terrible. I'm just going to force myself to get to the end. And I did, and it came out okay. It's actually on the record. And that started it. And it's still a struggle. I'm not one of these guys that writes every day or every week. It's just, when it comes, it comes.
Right,
and,
yeah.
It took me a year and a half to write 12 songs. So.
Out of those 12 tunes, you have 11 on the disc, you said,
Yep.
right? What was the 12th being punished, or did we?
Well, the 12th was going to be on the disc, and we were laying down
bonus track.
Not yet. We started to record it, and I just didn't like the way it felt. And at that time, we were starting to get close to the time that I wanted to be done. And I just said, we're going to shelf this one. We'll come back to it. And for now, it's punished, but hopefully it'll come out and see the light of day someday.
Well, sometimes you have to do that. You have to just walk away. And it's that way, I find, through all walks of life, not just with music. If you're, again, being a writer, and if I'm having certain trouble with a piece, sometimes I have to just, you know what, I'll do this later. I'm going to go have a shot of tequila. Yeah. Or I'll do this later. I'm going to go play a round of golf and then come back.
Right.
There's so much that needs to be. Sometimes you get a better perspective by stepping back. So.
Yeah, and I think the first 11 that we recorded were smooth and they felt natural, and this one it seemed like it was being forced. And I said, I don't want to force this and then regret it later. So
now, out of those 11, put that 12th one to the side. Out of those 11, is there one that you wrote in like 15 minutes,
No.
20 minutes? No?
Not a one.
Because so many artists that I interview say they're one of their favorite or their most populars, and I only wrote that song in 20 minutes.
I hate
it
those
just
people.
came to me and it kept coming.
I hate those people. The music comes typically very quick right away, but I said the lyrics don't. I'll get a line, maybe I'll get a verse at a time, but usually it's line by line, and there's thought, and there's cross outs, and there's arrows, and my journal is a mess.
400 years from now, when some archaeologist finds Dave's journal, they're going to be like, where's that translation key? Like the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, I can't read half of it anymore either.
So, it's funny because, like you said, the music usually, you'll get a melody stuck, Ed, or, being a guitar player, I'm sure you're a noodler like all guitar players. So,
right.
Hey, wait a minute, I like that, and so now, and then it progresses, but lyrically, how difficult is it to, you got the music, you got the melody, you've got a few words. How difficult is it to decide? And I always wondered how singer-songwriters do this. How difficult is it to decide how to put the two together to get that flow?
It's difficult. I wish I had an easy answer for it. But just the opposite is not easier too. One song I had the lyrics first, and that took me the longest. That was the longest to write because I couldn't come up with a melody for it. The other ones that have the music, it seems like it goes a little smoother. And I just sit there doing a lot of la 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 la's, and sometimes a couple of words pop up, and you go, ooh, and you run to your journal and say, oh, I saw that, and then it kind of pulls things together. That's what works for me. I envy the people that wake up with a full song in their head, and they jot it down, and it's.
I know, and I've worked with singer-songwriters who, or musicians who, while we're in the studio doing their second album, they're already talking about the third. I've got this. I don't have enough room on this.
I don't have that problem. I wish I did
sometimes. God
sometimes.
bless them. I can't. When you would tour, did you ever find yourself writing on based on those experiences on the road, or?
No, I didn't write at all back then. Yeah, it was funny. There was never. Yeah, I mean, I was always more of an interpreter. I mean, I guess that's the reason I worked out so decently playing as backup bands, except for Whitney, who didn't let us interpret. I was always very good at making something my own. Even to this day, and I play in an acoustic duo. It's called Kim and Dave, and we do mostly covers, and they're all what I call reimagined covers. We kind of rearrange them and do them ourselves. I can hear a song, and in 3 seconds, I have an arrangement for it in my head without even thinking about it. It's there. It's fully formed.
Right.
So I have that, but I don't have that for original songs.
Well, you got something to work with the covers at least. Yeah. I guess. So where does Kim and Dave perform vocally?
We play once a month up in Metuchen at Novita's Bistro.
Okay.
That's a steady gig. We play a lot of restaurant kind of play. A lot of Italian restaurants. La Tavola Cucina up in South River. We play just about once every month and a half or so, and then it's a lot of different things: coffee house things, open mic things.
Now, do you have a Facebook page just for Kim and Dave, or is it strictly?
We do have a website. It's called kimanddavemusic.com.
Okay.
Very original, right?
Hey, I'm surprised it was available.
Yeah. But we play Rock the Farm every year.
Oh,
which
you
is
do?
Nice. We actually played the CFC Foundation's Christmas party yesterday.
That could be why that could be. Were you at the first one? Rock the Farm?
The first one, I didn't play it. I was at it, but I didn't play it.
That could be why you look familiar. I broadcasted that thing.
Oh, right.
In the back the entire day in that miserable,
It was terrible.
Cold rain. Although it was kind of nice to see, Vinny and Artemis Pyle trading licks on the drum kits there.
That was cool.
So that was a lot of fun. I think they did what they do together. Rosalita and was it?
I don't remember.
Freebird, or what was it? It was something that they did at the end. Sweet Home Alabama. I forget
Maybe,
what it was, but that was a neat day. That very first one was neat.
Yeah, and the subsequent ones, they keep growing. Keep getting bigger and bigger, and they're fun. And
it's not in Reagan's backyard anymore, right? They moved it.
Last year they
so
did
big,
it at Brookdale last year. Yeah.
Okay.
This year, I should say, was at Brookdale.
Right. That's for a good cause.
It's a great cause. The Regans are great people, and they hear their stories and the people that they help as a result of this. It's heartwarming.
Yeah. That's it's addiction is a horrible. It's a horrible thing.
Especially in our area. It's I don't know why it seems like that Howell area in particular is just this humongous influx of all the stuff, and just the casualties from it are just amazing. When you don't want to read the numbers because you don't really want to know what's going on some level, but when you do, it's shocking. It really is.
Especially you would think, and especially the addiction in some of the more affluent communities. Now, there's two schools of thought to that. There is, they got the money to purchase the drugs, and then there's the other school of thought is, well, you know what? They're so well off. They should be doing a better job at educating these people who are. But that's one of these things. It's like cancer. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what race, creed, or color, religion you are. It's it can affect a lot of people. Look no further than your old boss, right, Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tragedy. I mean, her voice was just outstanding.
She had a gift.
Yeah. So, again, this is One More with Danny Coleman. I'm Danny Coleman. That is Dave Vargo. That is Nash, and you can't see him, but I can. We revealed him last week, the self-professed god of flannel. How many flannel shirts do you own, Nash?
6.
That's it?
I know, right? I'm
It's all he has.
7 soon.
Wait a second. I expected a much higher number than 6.
I
I'm
expected
sorry.
like 36.
It'll be 7 right after Christmas.
Nash
Ooh.
is like, remember Tim Allen's show?
Sure.
What's it called? Home Improvement, right? So he's Al Borland. He's my Al Borland right there.
I don't think so, Danny.
No?
I don't think so.
Well, you got the flannel.
No, like his quote, like I don't think so, Tim.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I just communicate with grunts.
I don't know. You lost your antlers too. We had a very festive Facebook Live actually before this.
Oh, let me get
Matt had his antlers on.
festive, scary. I'm not.
That's a nice hat, though. I like that.
Well, thank you.
Is that a crusher or is that just a regular fedora?
I think it's just a regular fedora. I don't know.
I used to have one like that. It was called a crusher. It was a felt crusher.
Okay.
It was my trout fishing hat, but it was one of these things you could roll it up, stick it in your pocket, and then you took it out, and it looked just like that when it came out.
I am fearful that would not happen with this. We would just have a crushed hat, I think.
God only knows what kind of very bad substance they put all over that to make it retain its shape.
Well, let's not go there.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Dave. You see what I'm looking at there?
Oh,
See?
yeah, it's back.
The audience can't see that.
The audience gets. I don't know whether he was supposed to be Satan with bells or if that is like antlers up
Yeah,
there.
you can go either way with that, can't you?
You're painting a really beautiful picture for the viewers right
Think
now.
about that at home. That's what you need to do. Think
Maybe
about
we'll
that
reveal
at
it
home.
at the end of the show.
Maybe. We'll have another reveal like we did with Nash last week.
There we go.
So, all right, what's next for you? Where do we go? We have the big CD release party December 30th.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're shooting for now. Over the next couple of weeks, we have this. We have some more press stuff going on, and getting the band ready for the show, and then we'll see what happens from there. A bunch more solo shows coming up after that. I'm so used to playing, one acoustic, one voice. It's very easy. You travel light, and we'll see. I mean, the record's going to be out, and there's across the country, and it looks like 100, 120 stations by the end of the year. So we'll see how that brings it. But I'm not looking to tour too much, so we'll see.
Yeah, what are you going to do if it takes off and you have to go back out on the road?
I won't. I don't think it's going to happen.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
Now, this is just a perfect example of how one man's dream is like another man's burden. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, every now and then you get offers to do different things, or what would you do? And I'm like, well, if I can drive there in a couple hours, I think I'd be happy doing it. Beyond that, although I will be in Nashville in September, so I'm going to drive to Nashville and do
What's
that.
in Nashville besides music?
Well, the Americana Fest in September.
Oh, okay. Been invited to play? Or
It looks like I'm going to get a spot in one of the venues
Great.
doing that, so that'll be kind of cool.
Great. Solo? Duo?
Probably solo, yeah.
All right. Do an original?
Yeah, yep.
Good. See, I like that. I like that.
That's
a
the
lot.
reason I'm going. Yeah, but Nashville's such a fun town too. So
Yeah, I heard. Actually, I heard from a friend of mine that lives down there. She's in a duo called Kelly and Troy. She put a Christmas tune. One of these tunes that just came to her because she heard something. I've noticed several songs this year, Christmas tunes, that have to do with people who've passed away. With fun lyrics like "There's one less plate to set," type of deal. And this kind of came to her about decorating a tree, and she wrote it, and and she did a Facebook Live video where she said her husband, the other half of her duo, that would be Troy,
Right.
came in and was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm trying." It was, she said the tears were just flowing because lyrically, it's. It kind of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. Just like these pastries. Look at these pastries.
those are beautiful.
They pull at my cholesterol, these pastries, Dave. they Nash.
They're good pastries.
They're good pastries, see? Audra, they're good pastries, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, that's right. Antoinette Boulangerie specializes in creating delicate and sophisticated works of art using only the highest quality ingredients. Located right next door at 32 Monmouth Street in the heart of downtown Red Bank, they're a fully operational bakery with all of the baking done on the premises daily. In addition to the handmade variety of croissants and Danish, Antoinette's also offers a dizzying array of traditional French pastries, macaroons, cookies, and savory treats. Find us at AntoinetteBoulangerie.com. A dizzying array.
I noticed that.
Which means if you eat these, you get vertigo.
Oh,
Wait, no. Sorry. Oh, there goes that sponsor.
Nash, is that what happened?
What a segue. What a segue.
Why, has he ever had vertigo?
No, to the ad read. That was
The phones are ringing off the hook.
Right? Yeah. And let me tell you, Mario. No. I'm on a roll now. Call me Butter. So, call me Butter. I'm on a roll. Right back there, Audrey? So, what is that like when you're on the road? Food, sickness. I mean, if you wake up and you got 103 fever and you feel like total crap, Whitney Houston's not going to hear it. Sorry.
Yeah, luckily it never happened to me, but guys would get sick, obviously. And I don't know if Whitney would have noticed or not. I mean, when you play with that level, she flew, we drove. She stayed in the 4-star hotel. We stayed in the 1.5-star motel. No, not in the van, luckily. There was too many of us. Well, that would have been ugly. So our paths never crossed. It was very much she was the boss, we were the employee. I wasn't even a boss employee. It was almost like she was the queen and we were
the serfs.
I guess,
Wow.
It was a very odd and different relationship.
Well, I guess
there was no relationship, I guess.
Yeah, well, and then I don't mean to keep coming back to it. It's just it keeps kind of taking that direction. It's so funny. I can understand why you would get, when you're on the road 320 days a year. That's a long time.
When you
can't have fish, they die. Who would feed the fish?
Well, when you wake up and you don't remember where you are, and it's not because you were partied, just because the hotel rooms look the same and the stage looks the same and the venues eventually look the same. Something's missing.
Well, and now you have the Saint.
Now we're the Saint, which I love the Saint.
The Saint is much smaller than Madison Square Garden.
Wee bit.
December 30th. Is there any opening acts for that show with you?
Yeah. Bobby Kearns, who plays under Gorilla Bob. Have you seen him around? He's going to be the opener. And then Michael Brett's going to play a set.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yep.
no kidding.
Solo.
I love Michael Brett, man. Incredibly talented songwriter.
Yeah, looking forward to, I don't hear him solo that much. I'm looking forward to hearing him. And then it's us. It's the early show, so people will be out by 9:30, 9:45 before they roll in the next, the night act.
Okay.
So we'll have to do an after party.
What time is the party?
The doors open at 6:15 and Bob hits the stage at 6:30, so it's early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So you'll be. Does Scott have an act booked for afterwards?
I haven't seen one yet, but he left room for one.
All right. So there may be one.
Yeah.
How about that?
He says you're out by 9:45.
So how well do you know Michael?
I don't know him that well. Our circles kind of move in similar areas, and I always just miss him. I played the Saint. He was there the day before. Or I played the Dragonfly. He was there the week before. So
Peter.
Yep. And
Peter's going to be on this program too.
Oh, cool.
In February.
Oh, great. Yeah, I just played up with Dragonfly. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? And so I usually see Mike as part of the maid rings. So I don't think
with Deirdre.
I haven't seen him by himself. So I'm very curious to see what he's got to do.
Michael Brett, Laura Chrissy, who I talked about earlier, Michael Brett, and Deirdre too. They mentioned me in the liner notes, which I think about it every time I think about something like that, because there's those three and there are a couple other artists too. I become, I don't want to say emotional. I'm not going to bawl my eyes out, but I kind of well up with pride for them that they thought enough of me to put me in there. And Michael's first CD is some of the best songwriting lyrically I've ever heard. Musically as well. But I've been fortunate enough to share a stage at a few open mics and a couple benefits with Michael Brett. So I'm. I consider myself very lucky, but he does he paints pictures with his lyrics. He's got a tune. I listen to it every Labor Day. It's called Labor Day. Oh, and talking about the potato salad and this at the picnic and that at the picnic, and and it's just he's incredible. That's great that you have him on the bill. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Scott gave me. He said, "Well, you booked the show." I'm like, "Oh." And you start running through your head,
Imagine that.
Who's gonna be a good combination? You want people that are gonna complement one another. Do you get another band, but then you have to worry about backlining stuff. So it's the whole thing. So, So Bob's playing by himself. Michael's playing by himself. Two solo acoustic things to keep it simple. But they both have interesting songs. I think it's gonna be a fun night.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I can't speak for Gorilla Bob, but I know Michael does.
Well, the name of Gorilla Bob. I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. And I'm very excited to hear your stuff this evening. you know, and I'm just sorry that I mean, as much as I'm sorry that I didn't have time to prepare for your visit here this evening, I am incredibly happy because to get to find out about you. I'm sorry, it's only an hour long. I mean, I could talk to you for about 3 hours, I think.
No, you're pretty
Easy.
much at the end, I think.
Think so? We're done.
There's not much more.
Are you leaving me?
No, I'm just, we might have to change topics.
Dave, I will talk to you about what you had for breakfast this morning, if that's what it takes.
Chocolate
We
chip
could
cookie.
discuss Nash's flannel.
Oh no.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Well, now we've established that
That's where we
there's
hit that
6 of them.
topic. Yeah. Well, yeah, we could talk about each one. What colors do you have, man?
Got blue, black, and red. I got tan and blue and gray, and like 2 more red ones.
2 more red ones. See, he is Al Borland.
Oh jeez.
But he is the mystery that is Nash. So if you see him around town, remember. We're gonna get him to the point where he just walks into places and says, I am Nash, the self-professed god of flannel.
I am the flannel.
Give
god.
me a free car. You know,
Oh please, yes.
that's where we're going with
Do you
that.
actually get free cars for flannel? I don't know. It's
See? Why
Give
not?
me
Do your car
seats?
seats have flannel covered?
They don't.
Okay.
One
Just
day
thought
though.
I'd check.
One day.
I'm not sure those would wear so well.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. So the party is again December 30th at the Saint, which is located at, is it 600 or 601 Main Street?
I believe it's 601
601 Main Street in Asbury Park. It's also known as Route 71 in Asbury Park, New Jersey. All these years you've been performing. You have a favorite memory or story, good, bad, or indifferent? I had a guy come on this. There were 2 stories that have stuck out from my radio show.
He's getting ready to set the bar very high right now, right?
No, there's just 2 stories that have stuck out on my radio show over the years. One was a fellow who's a friend of mine by the name of Keith Manaccio, and he said when he was in the band, he it was either the Semi Beings or the Commons, whatever it was. They had a gig out in Harrisburg, so they're a couple hours, hour and a half maybe from home as far as they had to drive, you know. And they were the first act. It went on at like 9:15. The bar owner refused to pay them until the night was over. So he essentially held them hostage until 1:30 in the morning. Then when he paid them in rolled coin.
Wow.
He said, so here we are, an hour and a half from home, with rolled coin. The heater in the car broke. It was about 3 below zero when we left there. He said it was the worst gig I ever had in my life. Now, can you imagine being paid in pennies or dimes or nickels, quarters?
No.
Right? So, and the other one was an artist who was a woman by the name of Melissa Chill. Melissa was in a band years ago, and this was before cell phones. You know, so we're going back to the 80s. And they're on tour, and they're driving to Florida as part of this East Coast tour. They stopped in a rest stop in Georgia, got out, they all went to the bathroom. The bass player was sleeping on the back seat. They come back in, they get in the van, they leave. About 3 hours later, they turn around and realize the bass player isn't there. The bass player had gotten out to go to the bathroom while they were in the convenience store. Nobody knew it. Nobody saw him. He come out, and he's like, what? They had to turn around and drive 3 hours back in the other direction.
That always happens to a bass player, too. Did you notice?
Right? That's what they get for being all quiet back there. So, not that you had anything on either of those levels, but do you have any kind of memory like that you wish to share?
Well, I don't know if it's going to hold up, but I was playing with Vonda Shepard, and Vonda's from California.
Oh, Vonda. I interviewed Vonda, did a piece on her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because she was on Ally McBeal.
She was, yeah.
How about that?
So this is prior to that. I mean, she had a pretty good career up to get that part
Right.
on Ally McBeal, and she was from California. She used to have a weekly show in, I think it was Santa Monica, and I used to play all those shows. And typically, it was cover songs. She did a lot of R&B, and every now and then she'd throw in an original, and she'd have charts for you. So we were showing up to the gig that night, and she says, we're doing all new stuff tonight, all originals, but I got charts. Don't worry about it. And we can all, we were like, fine. So we got our charts, we're ready to go. the power goes out and the power doesn't come back on. No lights, and we're still supposed to play acoustically, but we couldn't read the charts. So it was not a good night. The power eventually did come on, but long after the show was over.
Oh boy.
Those candlelights, but you can't read charts by candlelight.
That's
so.
when you wish you had the Snuggie book light. Clamp right on the end.
Or even a cell phone back then. There were no cell phones. But that was an interesting night.
I might do that, Nash. We'll make yours flannel. Might make that the official garment of the One More with Danny Coleman show. We'll all sit around in Snuggies, looking like aliens. Why not?
I'm glad I got here
before that happened. Hey, I got a thumbs up from the director. We're all going to look like those mole people in Planet of the Apes, the original, when they all came with the big robes.
It's nice to have aspirations.
I could never understand those things. So all the power went out, huh?
Yep.
How did Vonda handle that?
Well, she knew the songs, magically the
She was ahead of
piano.
us.
You can hear the piano through. Didn't need to be mic'd. So, so we followed as best we could, and we were mostly electric instruments, so you couldn't hear us anyway. But sitting there twiddling your thumbs, hoping that at some point the power was going to come back on, then you could find your place. But never happened. So just a lot of awkwardness sitting in the dark.
Now, and it's kind of. Do you have any designs on that actually? TV or movie placement, or
Well, it's funny you said. I mean, the CD is almost an afterthought. I started writing songs because I knew I didn't want to tour and things like that. I was going to try and place them with Nashville people, and started going down that path, and had a little bit of traction. Didn't sell any songs, but had some interest. But a lot of comments that. Listen to what's on the radio today and come back to us. And then you listen to what's on the radio, a lot of songs about whiskey and bars and baseball bats and trucks. I don't write about that kind of stuff. And so that was kind of their awakening, saying, keep sending us stuff, but unless you're writing stuff like that, you're probably not going to get anywhere. So now I'm actually pursuing, more TV, movie kind of placements. And,
and I fortunately, you gave me that segue there, because I remember Vonda, when Ally McBeal, when that show was on Fox, that was really groundbreaking for indie artists. Sure. Because, she, of course, Vonda Shepard, for those of you who aren't familiar with Vonda, if you remember the television show Ally McBeal, Vonda was the band in the bar that all the lawyers would go to. That was her and her band. And she told me that some of those shots, a lot of those shots were actually them. Yeah. And she was an indie artist, so she did some cover songs, but she also did some of her original material on that. And now, if you look at all these popular shows, most of which, if you think about it, are not on the major networks. They're not on the mainstream, ABC, NBC, and CBS. They're on FX. They're on, HBO. They're all cable oriented. Yeah. I know that, some artists, that's what their goal is now. I mentioned Keith Minaccio. He had a tune on High School Reunion, I believe, which was on MTV, I think, at the time.
Okay.
Also, Deadliest Catch on the Discovery Channel, I think it is, right? I know Joe Weimer's had a couple songs in Sons of Anarchy. Right. That's just, and that seems to be Sam Sims, who was just on my radio show last night, had the Christmas episode 2013 and 2014, his Hawaiian Christmas song was on Hawaii 5-0.
Oh, great.
So, it's, there's a lot of that going on now.
Yeah, you got to work for it. I mean, it's, I think what the easy way out is to get your song in a music library someplace and hope that someone's going to find it. But you really need somebody out there to kind of be shopping your songs. We did that in
the 70s, Dave. You sent the cassette off and hoped that somebody found it.
And still people do that. There's a lot of libraries out there. But now with the amount of music that a lot of these shows are buying, and they're buying a lot, is that they don't have time to seek through these music libraries with, you punch in a tempo and a mood and 30,000 songs come up. Right. So they're going out to people to kind of, my show, find me some songs. And that's where trying to meet those kind of people to go for songwriters. Like, if you get a couple of those people in your corner, you're going to get placements.
Right.
And they're not, they don't pay as well as they used to. But
Welcome to the music.
but what they do frequently, I know back in the old days, and up until recently, you get a song in a movie that give you a check up front, and then you'd make some back end money.
Right.
Now most of the time it's all back end money. But if you get a show on Discovery Station, they play that show 30 times a day.
Right.
The back end money can be pretty good sometimes.
So you're getting the you're getting the royalties that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's funny. I had mentioned to you earlier, and I wasn't sure if we got back to it, about the artistic freedom.
Right.
Did you use a click track when you recorded, or?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not, other than the obvious reasons of making sure everything's in time, why?
We started every song off with just acoustic guitar the way I played them live.
Okay.
And the fear with adding drums after the fact was that if I rushed anything, it'd be harder to kind of match everything up. So we clicked everything just to be safe. Not knowing at the beginning, I said I didn't have any kind of preconceived notions going in what the song was going to be like, as far as, was it a full band, was it a partial band?
Okay.
So I said, let's keep everything on key so we don't make it difficult for ourselves later on.
Okay. No, the only reason I ask that is because you remember the days of analog. When you went in a recording studio, you laid down, the entire band played, and they only kept the rhythm track. Get rhythm guitar, bass, and drums.
Right.
And then the leads and everything were overdubbed over top of that. And now with this, drag the mouse, point and click,
Yep.
and click tracks, I've been told by some of these people that I speak with that there's not enough mistakes in music now. Music doesn't breathe anymore. There's no one guy, Bill Kirchen. You familiar with Bill Kirchen?
No.
Commander Cody's Lost Airman, Hot Rod Lincoln, the tune Hot Rod Lincoln. You know what I'm talking? Okay,
I don't
Bill
know.
Kirchen,
Okay.
the quote unquote Titan of the Telecaster. Whenever he records, he's got a band he uses in London. He's got a band he uses here in the States. And whenever he records, he says, them click tracks, out the window they go, because he says, I want to know what that musician's feeling at the moment. He said, so even though it's a digital recording, I do it like it's analog. He said, I get in the studio and I let my band play, and then
Right.
I just overdub my leads over top of it, or the percussion in, or whatever. And he says, I find that, if it speeds up or slows down, unless it's drastically noticeable, I don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think in a band environment, that works. If you're playing with a live drummer, you're going to follow the feel. But I think starting off with just guitar and then building on that over time, it's kind of hard. If you're not doing it together, it's kind of hard to replicate
Gotcha.
the ebb and flow.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what there, Dave. First of all, thank you everybody for tuning in. Dave, our hour is almost up. Our
Wow.
hour, and we got a few. We're going to let you get set up to perform for us tonight. This is Dave Varga, if you're just tuning in. If you're just tuning in, you're going to have to catch a replay because you've missed the majority of the show. You get to the good part right here, though. I'm going to talk about Monmouth music for a little bit.
Okay.
And I'll let you get ready to perform. How's that?
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Sure.
All right. We are going to talk about Monmouth music, which was established in 1987. Monmouth Music is located in the center of historic Red Bank, New Jersey. For 30 years, Monmouth Music has served the local and traveling musician with brand-named instruments and accessories at everyday low prices. Monmouth Music also welcomes aspiring musicians of all levels with a broad selection of affordable instruments, including school orchestra instruments for both sale and rental. Monmouth Music provides student lessons with their long-tenured music teaching staff. In addition to providing brand-name instruments and complete lesson plans, Monmouth Music is home to Bob Pinto's Guitar Hospital, which specializes in string instrument repairs. There's also an in-house professional amplifier repair service by BP Electronics. Monmouth Music is owner-operated, which ensures you will get professional and personal service every day. Mario promises. I'm telling you, Mario promises me this. Come to Red Bank and visit Monmouth Music. Make the trip. You will not be disappointed. And you all set to go there, Dave? I think so. We're all set to go. All right, thank you all again for tuning in, and we'll be back once Dave is done. He's going to play a couple of songs for you, and without waiting anymore, Dave Varga.
Thank you.
having me, Danny.
You are
Thanks
most
for
welcome,
music.
sir.
Thanks to the flannel guy, as he's now known.
The self-professed god of flannel.
I'm still trying to figure out 6 shirts, God. You don't know. You might have to build a collection more. This is a song off the record. It's called "Come Take Me Home." I was alone so long, I thought I knew. There's a certain kind of comfort in what you're used to. It's hard to miss what you never got to pursue. The walls were built, the bridges burned. A lot of love that was never returned. A collection of lessons to unlearn. Seasons change, there's an open door. Don't wanna live like this anymore. Could this be better than it was before? Come take me home. I need to be alone. The fence is frayed and torn. The violent like a stone. I think that I like it. Come take me home. All your words and your casual glances, breaking down what you left of my defenses. Melt the skies, I hint at second chances. Now you're firing shots across my bow. My flag is up, surrender loud. Nothing's perfect except for this right now. Come take me home. I need to be alone. The fence is frayed and torn. It's violent like a stone. I think that I like it. Come take me home. I need to be alone. The fence is frayed and torn. It's violent like a stone. I think that I like it. Come take me bad in hell to get to this good. The Jesus burst times right for sure. The path was lit. I'm running past where I stood. Take me home. I need to be alone. The fence is frayed and torn. It's violent like a stone. I think that I like it. Come take me home. I need to be alone. The fence is frayed and torn. It's violent like a stone. I think that I like it. Come take me home. Come take me home. Thank you. So that's the first track off of the new record, Burning Through. I can't talk now, see? Once I start singing, everything else comes apart. And this is the second track. It's called Good Enough. I've been drawn to the wide open places, but this burned your heart. How'd you train that was going nowhere? Stay past those shots. You've been gone too long, so hard to reconstruct. Fading memories, you wonder was it ever good enough?
There you go, man.
Thank you, man.
Dave Vargo, I'm told I have to wear the headpiece here in the tribe of One More with Danny Coleman. This is what they've been walking around with. It's my turn. It found it. Dave, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Dave Vargo,
Thank
his
you.
new CD is called
Burning Through.
Burning Through. This has been One More with Danny Coleman. This is Dave Vargo. December 30th at St. Asbury Park, 601 Main Street in Asbury Park, New Jersey with Michael Brett and Gorilla Bob. Go out and see this man. Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Till next week, have one more.